This is Presentation 5 of the New York State Grades 3 to 8 ELA Rubric and Scoring Training Series, the Grade 3 ELA Extended Response 4-Point Rubric. This section of the training will explain the use of the new 4-point rubric for scoring extended responses. Please have a copy of the rubric handy. You may wish to make notes directly on the rubric. While writing from a text requires reading comprehension skills, the 4-point questions are more focused on writing, crafting an extended essay than are the 2-point questions. While each question is aligned with a specific Common Core standard, the rubric lists all the standards that are being assessed by the 4-point questions. Remember that there are multiple ways to respond to each question and no one correct way to respond to the question. If you do not have a separate copy of the 4-point rubric, you can find one in the Extended Response Guide Set handout. You may wish to remove it from the handout packet so that you may refer to it while reviewing the student responses. The rubric looks like this. We will look at each score point in detail, but remember, you are not assigning 4 separate scores to each response, but one overall holistic best fit score. The score points are made up of all the criteria, and they're in the columns that go down the rubric. Please take several minutes to read through the entire rubric and then, using a highlighter or pen, mark the descriptors that change as you move through the score points for each of the categories. You should pause this presentation until you have completed the activity. Now we're going to look at each score point in detail. As we go through the rubric, pay attention to the descriptors you noted in the earlier activity. The first criterion is content and analysis, the extent to which the essay conveys ideas and information clearly and accurately in order to support analysis of topics or text. This criterion is used to assess Writing Standard 2 and Reading Standards 1 through 9. At a level 4, essays clearly introduce a topic in a manner that follows logically from the task and purpose. At a 3, they clearly introduce a topic in a manner that follows from the task and purpose. So notice that the difference in the level 4, they follow logically. In the level 3, it states that they follow the task and purpose. Level 2, essays introduce a topic in a manner that follows generally from the task and purpose. And at a 1, essays introduce a topic in a manner that does not follow logically from the task and purpose. The next bullet point, at a level 4, essays demonstrate comprehension and analysis of the text, while at a level 3, they demonstrate grade-appropriate comprehension of the text. At a 2, essays demonstrate a confused comprehension of a text. At a 1, they demonstrate little understanding of the text. And essays at a level 0 demonstrate a lack of comprehension of the text or task. The next criterion is command of evidence, the extent to which the essay presents evidence from the provided text to support analysis and reflection. This is used to assess Writing Standard 2 and Reading Standards 1 through 8. Essays at level 4 develop the topic with relevant, well-chosen facts, definitions, and details throughout the essay. At a 3, they develop the topic with relevant facts, definitions, and details throughout the essay. At a level 2, they partially develop the topic of the essay with the use of some textual evidence, some of which may be irrelevant. And at a level 1, they demonstrate an attempt to use evidence, but only develop ideas with minimal, occasional evidence which is generally invalid or irrelevant. Essays at a level 0 provide no evidence, or they provide evidence that is completely irrelevant. The next criterion is coherence, organization, and style. That's the extent to which the essay logically organizes complex ideas, concepts, and information using formal style and precise language. This criterion is used to assess Writing Standard 2, Language Standard 3, and Language Standard 6. Looking at the first bullet in Level 4, essays clearly and consistently group related information together. In Level 3, they generally group related information together. Level 2, they exhibit some attempt to group related information together. At a 1, they exhibit little attempt at organization. And at a 0, they exhibit no evidence of organization. The second bullet in Level 4, essays skillfully connect ideas within categories of information using linking words and phrases. In Level 3, they connect ideas within categories of information using linking words and phrases, but notice the Level 4 is doing it skillfully. Level 3 is getting it done. Level 2 inconsistently connects ideas using some linking words and phrases. Level 1, essays lack the use of linking words and phrases. The third bullet, Level 4, essays provide a concluding statement that follows clearly from the topic and information presented. At a Level 3, provides a concluding statement that follows from the topic and information presented. At a 2, provide a concluding statement that follows generally from the topic and information presented. At a Level 1, they provide a concluding statement that's illogical or unrelated to the topic and information presented. And at a Level 0, they do not provide a concluding statement. The last criterion is the control of conventions. That's the extent to which the essay demonstrates command of the conventions of standard English grammar, usage, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. This is used to assess Writing Standard 2, Language Standard 1, or Language Standard 2. A Level 4 essay demonstrates grade appropriate command of the conventions with few errors. At a Level 3, they demonstrate grade appropriate command of the conventions with occasional errors that do not hinder comprehension. At a Level 2, they demonstrate emerging command of conventions with some errors that may hinder comprehension. At Level 1, students demonstrate a lack of command of the conventions with frequent errors that hinder comprehension. And essays at a Level 0 are minimal, making the assessment of conventions unreliable. Take a look at the bullets at the bottom of the rubric. The first bullet states that if a student writes only a personal response and makes no reference to the text, the response can be scored no higher than a 1. The second bullet says that responses totally unrelated to the topic, illegible, incoherent, or blank should be given a 0. And the third bullet, a response totally copied from the texts with no original student writing, should be scored a 0. You have to keep your eye on these because every now and again you're going to see them. They're not really covered in the criteria, but you have to consider them as you're scoring the papers. As you apply the rubric, remember that it's to be used holistically. You are not assigning 4 separate scores to each response, but one overall, holistic, best fit score. All of the criteria must be considered. Very rarely will a response meet every bullet point for any specific score point, and one bullet point does not a score point make. You will need to find what the best fit score is for each response. You should remove the rubric from the packet so you're able to refer to it while reviewing the 4-point student responses. Knowing the rubric is necessary to score accurately, but you'll also need to become familiar with the guide papers provided as well. Think of it like this. The rubric tells us what a response at each score point looks like, but the guide papers show us what responses look like at each score point. Scorers will need to reference both their rubrics and their guide papers while scoring. We'll take a look at the guide papers in another presentation.